I should really check on the non-playoff teams. They always do something weird around this time.
Hey, do you know where our sword is?
No idea. Why?
Saber's local is gonna chop off his neck to give it to Jack Eichel so he'll stay a Saber.
Yeah, but isn't that our neck?
Well, I don't know.
I found it!
Nope.
Low quality fans of a high quality AHL team. What a game! That is not a dub, but it's the W's feeling non-dub we've had this season, I will say. I expected a weird lineup. I did not expect that weird. I did not expect us to rest 16 players. That's a lot. The Capitals, on the other hand, rested 2. Oshie and Carlson, both of which are injured and expected back for round 1. Here's a quick side-by-side of the rosters. You'll notice that one has several key NHL players on it, and one has not that. Sure, they have a generational talent on their side, some excellent facilitators, a real strong NHL defense, and a guy that they traded way too much for during the trade deadline. They have all of that. But you know what they don't have? They don't have Jeremy swashbuckling Swayman. That's right, folks, because he straight up pirated this game. He downloaded that shit. This metaphor actually doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? Swayman was so, oh my god, impressive in this game. I keep tempering expectations. I keep doing it because we know goalies. Goalies are fickle, and we don't know what we're even going to see next year from Swayman. We really don't. But all signs point to pretty good. He was shellacked in net this game, as expected. And the conversation going into the game, I'm sure, was Cassidy going, keep your head up and just fight it out, man. Just see what you can do. Have some fun. Don't worry. Don't worry about the little stuff. Just play your game. It was mentioned during the broadcast that Cassidy had told the team it's not about the win because this game means nothing. It is about the effort and making the best of the situation. And I gotta say, a couple people, we're gonna talk about them, really made the best of the situation. And this was a competitive game. Now, do not be fooled. A lot of people, and you know how people get, a lot of people are saying, you got outplayed by an AHL team, Washington Capitals suck, da 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 da. This was a mixture of 2 things. Maybe 3. But here, the Capitals didn't take the team seriously. Because why would they? They were just trying to get up. It was like a preseason college football game where they kick the shit out of some lesser team, but they don't take it seriously enough, so it's actually more competitive than you think. The other thing is that Swayman played incredible. Like, full goalied them. So, what are you going to do with that? That happens no matter what roster you're playing against sometimes. Sometimes you just can't squeak one in. And lastly, probably the third thing that kind of affects this game is 90% of the players who played for us in that game knew that that's the last game they're getting this season. So they emptied the bucket. We did start to see that in pockets of the game where the team kind of came up gassed, but these guys played their hearts out and they really deserve a lot of credit. We did not kick the shit out of the Capitals with an AHL team. We were competitive against a Capitals team that's a little undermanned. I know that's funny to say in this context, but didn't take us very seriously because they knew who they were playing. This should say nothing about the series that we are about to face. Do not get overconfident in this one. So Swayman gets to start. Richie, Wagner, and Comfer all get the A on the chest, which is really great to see. That's a nice little, hey, you guys deserve it. It feels like one person had the option to take tonight off if they wanted it, but decided to stay in. It feels like a lot of guys were told they're sitting, and it feels like a lot of guys were told you got to play. Nick Ritchie, I don't think was one of them. I think there was a conversation, and this is full speculation, where Cassidy goes, look, you can play all 56. You can wear the A. You can represent us as the guy in this game if you'd like. And I think that was important to Ritchie. I really do think he wanted to be the Bruin that played every single game. And he does play a style where you don't want him to take a lot of nights off because he is a rough and tough member. You want him to have that mentality going into the playoffs. I just think it's interesting. I really think that he had the choice. And it's total speculation. I got nothing going off of there as far as quotes or anything like that. Puck puck drops, and I'm expecting a pretty lackluster game. I'm expecting us to get shelled in our own zone the entire time, and most of the first was a just head-bashing experience as the Capitals kind of were doing their thing. But there were entertaining things that happened during the game. One of which, Jack Edwards not being able to figure out who the hell he's talking about on the ice. Because this is not a criticism. I can't imagine having to call that game. Because no matter how well you know the team, you're looking at the numbers and you're just flipping them a little bit. Right? Because these are all, the whole roster's different. You're not interchanging one or two guys. You're bringing up, it's 90% of them are non-regulars. So watching him struggle with that was super fun. Another interesting moment was when Oscar Steen drives Chara directly into the boards. Look at the size difference. All due respect to Chara, that's hilarious. And Chara tripped a little bit, but he was fine. He got up fine. He was a little shaken up, but he's healthy, so I'm not doing that. I'm not making fun of the guy for that. That is such a funny scene. The size difference, the age difference, just what a world to live in. If there's any Resident Evil fans out there, it just kind of made me think of this. I was going to get a little bit of the usual 7:15 in. Cliffy just gets beat off a race to the puck and slashes a Capitals player, meaning we are going to the penalty kill because Clifton gets beat once again. Actually, Clifton had a kind of rough game in a game where it was easy to spot mistakes from most of the roster, right? Remember, we played well in high energy. There were mistakes all over the place. And it does go to show just how good you need to be an NHL regular. I mean, some of the stuff we were seeing last night, you're looking at it going, that's right, I'm so not used to people messing up their angles. Like the basic stuff where you think it's simple, but at that speed and at that level of decision making, it becomes way more apparent. Clifton was one of our worst players out there. And I know, maybe everyone's sitting there going, you just don't like him. And like, maybe that's true, but I root for him. And he didn't play well. It leads to the penalty kill. We kill off a minute and a half of it. Mantha then trips Comfer. A nice play by Comfer to draw this tripping penalty. We're going to go to 4-on-4. Now, nothing's going to come out of this goal-wise, but I got to say, the kids are risking everything out there. Bleed is jumping in front of Ovechkin's one-timers, like blatantly just parking himself in that lane. That's something you don't normally see, and it drives everyone nuts because they're like, you know where he's shooting from, but no one wants to get in front of every single one of them. Not to mention Cameron Hughes, who actually had a really nice game, I thought. He maybe needs to learn the head-up trick a little bit. He was flying into any space he could find, head down, puck hunting. He didn't give a fuck. He was so fun to watch, and Studnicka also just doing everything he can. He's fighting and scrapping on the board, still not tough enough, still not physically tough enough, but not a lot's going to change over a couple months. They were just doing it all, man. What a pleasure to watch. A game that does not matter, and you just get to enjoy these guys just being at the top level against a real Stanley Cup caliber team, knowing what's at stake. Oh, I'm just gushing. With our minute and a half of power play time, because Mantha tripped Comfer late in that penalty kill, the best scoring chance, maybe of the game, really, the real best scoring chance, was Hagelin on a shorthanded breakaway and Swayman stones him with the blocker. I honestly, there was a moment in my head I went, Swayman's going to have a shutty. This is crazy. He was just knocking them all away. And you go into the second and all you're kind of thinking is, man, the kids are outmatched by skill. There's no arguing that. But they just don't care. They just don't care, and they're not getting dejected or upset. The vibes on the bench looked great. Everyone seemed happy to be there. Everyone wanted ice time. You saw them jumping over those boards. This was not a team aware of the situation that they were facing. This was a team taking advantage of an opportunity they were given. And that is something you don't see very often when a team is outmatched like this. Especially, I mean, if you're NHL regulars, I guess it hits a little different. But if you look at some of these teams like Buffalo, and you just, the toxic vibes, the unsettling look of everyone on the team, no one's happy to be there, right? And then you get this explosion of youth from a team that, all right, we're going to move on to the playoffs, you guys have a game, and they're just having so much fun. They're having so much fun. And the guys who are regulars who are in the lineup, like Wagner, like DeBrusque, like Richie, looked like they were having fun too. And somehow it got more fun. I'm overusing the F word. Sorry, Mom. 10 straight minutes to start the second of getting our teeth kicked in by the Capitals. They are overwhelming us. But when 10 and a half minutes into the period, Tinordi decides to join the rush. It's a fun little feed. We get the transition into their zone. DeBrusk chucks it up to Tinordi at the point. He is going to put it on his backhand. He's a left-handed shot. Puts it on his backhand. Skates all the way down to the right of Vitek Vanacek. And then flips the puck into the slot. Just hoping. He didn't look good doing it. Everyone's talking about the Paul Coffey, all this stuff. No. This looked ugly. He just skated down. He barely had control of the damn thing. Flung it into the slot. Gets off Lazar's foot, who is fighting in the slot. Dirty areas. Off his foot. And Lazar, as falling, is able to flip it into the open net because Vanacek didn't get back in time. That is a lead for our little brothers. It's Lazar and Tinordi and DeBrusk, so technically it's real NHL players getting that lead, but that's a 1-0 lead over the Capitals. Halfway through the game, Twitter just explodes and everyone's laughing. And oh man, how fun was that? I'm so afraid of this series because this is just going to be fuel for the Capitals to get pissed at us. Unfortunately, shortly after, Swayman finally breaks. He's been bending and bending and bending. He finally breaks. Clifton has a chance to clear the puck earlier in the play. He does not. I'm pointing it out because I'm biased. I don't know. And they continue to revolve around our zone. Just keeping the puck, little chances. They're taking their time with it. The Capitals are aware that they're going to get a ton of ozone time. And they're just trying to find the right shot. Because Swayman he's blocking everything. But this was a weird one. And I'm not sure who to blame. Puck ends up on Chara's stick up at the left point, and he takes a hammer of a shot. It does take a deflection, so it goes up high on the crest on Swayman, bouncing out. Now that's tough to swallow that puck, but he goes down to try to get the rebound. Puck gets up behind him, and we unfortunately just don't get the clear. Hagelin's on the doorstep to bury it. It's a tie game, 1-1. Chara gets the assist. Just a tough break for Swayman because he almost had that one too. It was the 25th shot of the game for the Capitals. Going into the third, 1-1, Zaboral out with an upper body injury. That's a bummer, but it should not change any expectations going forward. Hopefully, it is nothing major, obviously, because he will be one of the first defenders brought up if needed during the playoffs, and during the playoffs, you usually need defenders. The refs, although not calling a lot of offsides, icings, or really any stoppages whatsoever, trying to let the game go, it seemed like they're like, last game of the season, just get it done, boys. I also, again, speculation, assume that the conversation, the captains come out, the referees there, guaranteed the referee's like, guys, just get through the game. We're not doing the Rangers thing, the Rangers Caps thing, just get through the game. You guys will see each other potentially 7 more times this season. Get through the game. And for the most part, the game kind of flew by. 2 minutes into the third period, the reason I bring all this up is because Wilson and Frederick start jawing at each other and getting in each other's face. Something must have been said. Must have been said. Because I can't remember the last time that just for getting each other's faces, no punches thrown, both the players get 10-minute misconducts in the box. 10 minutes. Chill. Sit. Done. Surprising, but not that surprising. Not only does the rest of the period get pretty competitive, and not so much in the shot opportunity because we're out shooting them in the third, but the chances are better on their side, but it does get more competitive. Swayman continues to play out of his fucking mind. In the last 3 minutes of period are all us, and I mean all us, until about 6 seconds left. It's honestly a shot Swayman probably doesn't see that often in the AHL or obviously in college because it's a pinpoint shot. Rafael comes all the way down the left side. This is literally ticking down. 6, 5, 4. Clock is bleeding out. It doesn't look like he's going to have the angle. Gets on the red line. 0 angle. And he banks it off the back of Swayman's head and in. It's a great shot, and it's just not a lot you can do about that. A young goaltender is probably going to learn to try to seal up that corner a little bit, but you also don't want to take one to the side of the temple. It's a tough thing to handle. A lot of times you'll see Rask duck these on time. Just didn't work out that way. So with 1.8 seconds left, Rafael scores. Game over. 2-1 Caps. No one's upset. No one's upset. The Capitals go, all right, we got the win. Fluke game. We got goalied. The Bruins are sitting there going, that was fucking fun. Who cares? That was great. That's not even a roster. That was fun. Game notes. A couple players I'm going to point out. Feel free to point out who you noticed. The good? Oscar Steen looked great. He had all the energy in the world. He fought over everything. Nice back checks, nice second efforts. Really liked what he was doing. Cameron Hughes, great. Really thought he was doing well too. Again, this is not me saying they played a perfect game. These guys made a ton of mistakes. But if you want to talk about the level of competition that they had to fight against and the situation they were in, I'm really impressed with those two. Swayman, obviously first star. What do you want from me? Come on. The bad, Sean, I didn't like it. I didn't like what he was bringing. I thought he was a turnover machine. It felt like he was really weak on the puck, and it felt like he was watching too often and wasn't really moving his feet, which you talk about a guy who's like Grizzlick size, just a small dude. If you're not moving your feet, you're dead in the water, man. There's nothing you can do. And then, of course, Clifton, who I mean, maybe it's the level of talent around him. I don't know. Maybe he just plays up and down like that, but I actually thought, like, compared to some of these other guys, you're the bad one. What is funny is we looked better against this Capitals team as our AHL roster. Looked better against this Capitals team than the Islanders looked against us on Monday, which is just kind of funny. It's just the thought that came to mind. Thought you might enjoy it. And now that's it. We have the playoffs to go on to. And we have a very good Capitals team to play. A Capitals team in which I think personally we have an advantage over. And I think you're going to see this a lot. Goaltending. We should have the biggest advantage in goaltending and shot suppression. They have the biggest advantage in special teams. Stay out of the box, kids. And size. This is going to get ugly. It's going to get ugly quickly. But I'm going to do a full preview of that before the series starts, of course. I think my plan is tomorrow, meaning Thursday, to work on a preview for this series. And then hopefully Friday or Saturday morning, I'll be able to release an episode which is a overall of the playoffs, how I think it's going to go down. I will not be making a public bracket because I am so afraid of just assuming the Bruins beat anyone. I can't do it. I might do it. I'll probably do it. But anyway, we might have a couple more episodes coming out before puck drops on Saturday night, 7:15. Capitals, Bees, be there.